upon a time, nestled in a cozy corner of a bustling town, there was a magical little toy shop. The shelves were filled with wonders, spinning tops that hummed, porcelain dolls with silken dresses, and music boxes that played the sweetest melodies. And among them all sat a small, soft teddy bear named Beni. Beni was no ordinary bear. He was crafted from the fluffiest brown fabric, had shiny, curious button eyes, and wore a handsome golden ribbon tied neatly around his neck. But his most special feature was a tiny red heart, a bright button stitched right over his chest. This little heart made him feel complete, filled with a warmth that made him want to smile and wave at everyone who passed by. He loved his life in the toy shop. Each morning, as the sun peeked through the window, he'd watch the shopkeeper, a kind old man with a twinkle in his eye, turn the key in the lock and open the big wooden door. Beni would hum along with the music box, listen to the chattering of the toy soldiers, and dream of the day a child would choose him and take him on grand adventures. But one crisp morning, something felt different. As the first rays of sunlight danced across the dusty shelves, Beni felt a strange emptiness. He looked down, and his stuffing went cold. His little red heart button, it was gone. All that remained was a small, lonely patch of thread. Without his heart, the world seemed to lose its color. The music from the box sounded distant and sad. The dolls' smiles looked like frowns. Beni no longer felt the urge to wave or hum. He just sat there, still and silent, his button eyes staring blankly out the window, watching the happy children pass by. He felt incomplete, like a story with a missing page. The shopkeeper noticed. Of course, he'd pick Beni up, fluff his fur, and sigh. "Oh, Beni," he'd say softly, "where did your little heart go?" Days turned into weeks. Children would come and go, their laughter echoing through the shop. They'd admire the shiny toy cars and the beautiful dolls, but they would always pass by Beni. They'd point and whisper, "Look, that one's broken. It doesn't have a heart." Beni's hope began to fade, and he started to believe he would sit on that shelf forever, a forgotten, heartless bear. He felt lost and invisible, a shadow in a shop full of light. Then, one sunny afternoon, the little bell above the door jingled, and in walked a young girl named Lyra, holding her mother's hand. Lyra had bright, observant eyes and a smile that could chase away any shadow. She wandered through the shop, her gaze drifting past the race cars and the tea sets, until her eyes landed on the quiet, lonely figure on the shelf. She stopped right in front of Beni. While other children saw a broken toy, Lyra saw something else. She saw a flicker of sadness in his button eyes. Tugging on her mother's sleeve, she whispered, "Mum, look. This little bear looks so sad. I think he needs a hug." The kind shopkeeper, who was arranging some books nearby, overheard her. He smiled, a gentle, wistful smile. "Ah, that's our Beni," he explained. "He's a very sweet bear, but he lost his heart button a while ago. And you see, no one wants a toy without a heart." But Lyra wasn't like everyone else. She reached up with her small hands and carefully lifted Beni from the shelf. She didn't see a flaw. She saw a friend in need. Holding him close, she gave him the warmest, tightest hug he had ever felt. It was a hug full of pure, simple kindness. Then, looking up at her mother with determination in her eyes, she said the most wonderful words Beni had ever heard. "Then I'll give him mine." Her mother's heart melted. She smiled and nodded, and soon, Lyra was leaving the shop, holding Beni securely in her arms. For the first time in a very long time, Beni didn't feel the cold draft from the window. He felt the warmth of Lyra's embrace. He wasn't just a toy being sold, he was a friend being rescued. The world outside the shop window, once a distant blur, now seemed full of promise and adventure. When they arrived at Lyra's home, she carried Beni straight to her room, which was just as cheerful and bright as she was. She sat him down carefully on her patchwork quilt. "Don't worry, Beni," she whispered, as if he could understand every word. "We'll fix you right up." Lyra rummaged through her little sewing box, a treasure chest filled with colorful threads and mismatched buttons. She finally pulled out a small, bright red button from one of her old, favorite jackets. It wasn't a perfect, shiny heart shape like his old one. It was a simple, round button, worn with love and memories. With a needle and a strand of thread that was perhaps a little too bright, she began to sew. Her little fingers worked with gentle concentration. The stitches weren't perfectly straight, and the button sat just a little crooked on his chest. It wasn't a factory-perfect repair. It was a repair made with love. When she was finished, she held him up to admire her work. "There," she said proudly, "a new heart, just for you." At that moment, something magical happened. As Beni looked down at the little crooked button, he felt a warmth spread through his entire body, a warmth far greater than he had ever felt before. His button eyes, once dull with sadness, began to sparkle with a brand new light. He felt whole again. That night, as Lyra drifted off to sleep, she hugged Beni tight. Tucked under the covers, nestled beside the little girl who had shown him such kindness, Beni felt a profound sense of peace. He realized he hadn't just gotten a button back. He had found something much, much more precious. He had found love. And he learned that a heart isn't just something you have, it's something you share. The little crooked button on his chest was a constant reminder that the greatest love isn't about being perfect, but about being there for someone and sharing a piece of your own heart to make them whole again. Thank you so much for watching this story with us today. If it touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more gentle stories. Remember to share kindness wherever you go. We'll see you in the next video.